Hi guys, and welcome back to BCM, the Traore Army. Today you can see your girl is smiling from ear to ear. I'm very excited about what's going on in Africa right now. I think by now you know what is this channel all about. For now, up to a certain kind of maybe, I don't know until when I'm gonna stop, but this channel is officially about Ibrahim Traore because this guy is really bringing up a revolution. I think you guys have heard about the Haitian Revolution, the French Revolution. I don't know whether there's a British Revolution. I think there is. I think now we are talking about should I say an African revolution or should I say a Burkina Faso revolution? I think this guy is awakening every single person on the continent. And the reason I'm happy is because I was so unhappy about how our African leaders are acting. None of the African leaders, none of them really has official, except for Malema, obviously. And Malema is kind of my favorite kind of guy too, hey? Officially denounce what the US, have been trying to do through their so-called general that came out and just say some things about Traore. And I think on the previous video, I did a little bit kind of share about that, but I didn't go into details, probably I would say I didn't react on it in the sense of reacting on it. And today we're going to do that. So today we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to talk about what this young man has changed in the country. And I'm also going to share, for example, I think there's two leaders in Kenya, one on the side of Traore and the other one apparently sharing some things about Traore, and I don't even know what he's talking about. So I think we're gonna do that. So welcome back to the Black Consciousness Movement channel, which now turned into the Traore Army. Okay, I'm so excited, guys. But before we go any further, please push that notification button so that every single time we load a new video, you are ahead of your game. So without wasting any time, I want you to let's look at the first video and then we can talk about it.
Ask a few more questions here as we hopefully recess. Africa is a mineral-rich, resource-rich continent. Is that correct?
Yes, Chairman.
Okay. I can imagine a situation, though, in which the ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that inure to the benefit of the strongman leader and not to the populace of the country. Does that sort of corruption and bribery go on with regard to the Belt and Road?
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
So let's pause a little bit there and see, just look through. So the white guy, obviously, he's apparently asking a question. But when you look at that question, the way it comes, for me, it looked like that question was pre-planned. It's almost like they rehearsed before obviously the live interview or whatever. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to ask this, and then you're going to answer this, and we need to talk about Burkina Faso, because I don't understand where the general out of the blue mentioned Burkina Faso. And what they are talking about there, just to clear it up, is that they are talking about Ibrahim Traore apparently using gold to protect himself or something like that. And I'm like, where did they get that information from to begin with? I don't understand. Where did they get the information, that he's using the gold to protect himself or for himself without, thinking about the citizens? First of all, I want to stop right there. And I'm like, but France has been doing that for years. Why are you guys not complaining about France? Because apparently France is actually number 4 when it comes to gold reserve. They don't have a gold mine in France, although they are claiming to have, but we know they don't have. So where is that gold coming from? They are coming from the Sahel countries, you know. And now the US is apparently worried about, you know, people using their own gold to protect their leader. If it's possible, let me say it's true that they're using the gold to protect their leader. So what's wrong with that? It's their leader. Leave us alone. Because you guys keep on saying that we don't know how to, you know, like how to manage our resources. Leave us alone. Leave our gold alone. Let's allow us to make our own mistakes. You keep on saying that we don't know how to manage ourselves, our countries are poor, yet when you get kicked out, you actually, it's almost like these Western countries are having a tantrum. They are tantrumatic. Like they don't want to, it's almost like a child going to a Dollarama shop or a dollar shop, and now, you know, they are kind of like jumping on the floor, crying, kicking, because they want the candy that you say they can have. I don't understand. If they are really using the gold to protect their leader whom they love so much, what is the problem?
Shocking and unexpected move. The US has launched a vicious attack accusing Captain Ibrahim Traore of misusing Burkina Faso's precious gold reserves to protect his so-called junta regime. To add insult to injury, a level 4 travel advisory has been issued, citing terrorism, crime and kidnapping in a clear attempt to smear the nation's reputation and isolate it globally. But hear this, Burkina Faso stands unbowed. Under Captain Traore's bold leadership, the country is seizing control of its future and no Western propaganda can extinguish its fire. On April 15, 2025, the Burkinabe Ministry of Foreign Affairs dropped a bombshell press release, rejecting baseless accusations hurled by General Michael Langley, head of the US Africa Command, AFRICOM, during a session with the US Senate Armed Services Committee. Langley had the audacity to claim that Burkina Faso's gold reserves, our gold, the wealth of our land, are being used to protect the junta regime rather than benefiting the Burkinabe people. And as if that wasn't enough, the very next day, the US Embassy in Ouagadougou issued a level 4 travel advisory, warning American citizens against traveling to Burkina Faso, citing terrorism, crime and kidnapping. Coincidence? I think not. As the great Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, in politics nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way.
One of the things that, you know, I was, you know, talking about at the beginning of the video is that, I don't know, like honestly speaking, let's listen to this video first before I comment. So it's kind of a parliament in Kenya. The one guy mentioned that, oh no, why can't we follow the example of, you know, Traore? He's doing a good job. And then he actually mentioned the president of Namibia, the new elected president of Namibia, the first female. Obviously, I'm so proud. I'm proudly Namibian. Yeah, we're gonna talk about her too because she's changing things that are just almost like Traore. So I'm like, okay, Africa is definitely awakening right now. Yeah, but this video, it's not about the Namibian president. I'm gonna come with a full video about her because she's doing a good job. Anyway, I can mention some of the things that she's changing. Oh my God, I know schools in Namibia are free, although the books are expensive, but now she's making education, even when you want to go to university, it's free, like meaning that education in Namibia, it's free, even when you go to university. So that's a good thing. And that's exactly what Traore is also doing. But anyway, let's actually listen to these two, you know, like Kenyan in the parliament.
So now, if all of us can start learning from other leaders from other regions, Burkina Faso, let's go to Namibia, and then we bring it back home here, we will be able to ensure that there's security in the Great Lake regions. We'll be able to ensure that our water bodies are fully protected.
You know, I followed, you said something that got my attention about Captain Ibrahim Traore. I used to also fall for his hype, like many people fall on TikTok. I saw another journalist another time saying, oh, did you see the way he was cheered when he arrived for the inauguration of the Ghanaian new president, Mr. Speaker? And I was excited like most people, until I did some further research about what is exactly going on in Burkina Faso. And I want to challenge Senator Ledama to do the same, perhaps counter-check Senator Ledama, the things that you read online and the reality on ground, as Kenyans say. And I was shocked actually to learn that despite all this hype and the things that we read about, the things that they are doing, you know, first of all, I am not a fan of coups. I am a firm believer in democracy.
So when you look at that, the other guy is praising Traore, and the other guy actually act like apparently he used to admire Traore, and then he found out what he's doing. And I'm like, what did you find out? Say what you find out. He's not even saying, you can see that he's talking nonsense. You can see that this is one of the Western puppets. But I'm happy, you know why? Because the whole African continent, even Caribbeans, Jamaican, I've seen a lot of videos circulating, every single person is behind Traore. So, you know what? We know what the plan is, right? We know what the plan is, and this is a problem. The Western world come with, they use our own people. We know who they used to kill Gaddafi, right? And they started exactly like this. The problem is there's a phrase that says that you can fool some people sometime, but you can fool all the people all the time. Right?
Expected, the United States is coming for Captain Ibrahim Traore, and this time it looks like it's serious. It looks like they want to take it far, because this is coming from the head of the United States Africa Command, who is General Michael Langley. He accused Ibrahim Traore of the unthinkable. He accused the president of Burkina Faso of using the country's gold reserves for personal protection rather than for the benefit of its people. And we all know this is far from the truth. But unfortunately, we've seen the script before. Try to think harder. You don't even need to think hard. Try to think of this exact script. A black man in the US that has power declaring that an African leader is being shady or is doing something that he's not supposed to, taking out the resources and benefiting himself without really benefiting the people that he's supposed to serve. Have you read the script before? I'm sure it came to you. Do you remember what Obama did to the Libya president Muammar Gaddafi? You do remember, right? That time we failed Gaddafi as a people because we believed some of the hype. We were bamboozled as well as the people of Libya. But now in 2025, we know better. I hope the Western world knows that we know better now. It's not gonna happen on our watch, especially under the Burkinabe people's watch, because they have shown nothing but respect, love, admiration for their leader, Captain Ibrahim Traore. When there happens to be a coup, they're always there surrounding his house trying to protect their leader because they know what he's doing for them. And we're gonna go through what he has done for them, and what the US is accusing Ibrahim Traore of is BS.
In 2011, the world watched as Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown. The justification was humanitarian. But behind the headlines were oil fields, gold reserves, and plans for an African currency backed by gold. Gaddafi's push for economic independence posed a direct threat to Western financial dominance. And when he refused to play along, the media machine turned him into a villain. The rest is tragic history. What's happening in Burkina Faso feels familiar. The demonization of Traore, the sudden media interest, the concern over governance. It's a script we've seen before. This time, will Africa allow the same play to unfold? Western media outlets paint Traore as unstable, corrupt, or radical. But few platforms ask, who benefits from this story? And who's silenced? Meanwhile, African voices, scholars, journalists, activists, are raising red flags. They see the narrative forming and know what often follows: sanctions, isolation, then boots on the ground. Controlling perception is the first step in controlling people. It's time Africans start telling their own stories. Because if we don't, someone else will, and they won't tell it right. Across the continent, leaders and citizens are speaking up. Mali, Guinea, Niger, all part of a growing bloc pushing back against foreign dominance. For the first time in decades, there's a movement toward real Pan-Africanism, politically, economically, and culturally. Captain Traore is not alone, and that may be his greatest strength.
With Gaddafi, I think most people were fooled. But now, look at what's going on in Libya, right? The advantage that they had when Gaddafi was there, they are probably regretting right now. And this is the same. Who killed Patrice Lumumba? Who killed Thomas Sankara? Thomas Sankara was actually killed by his own friend, somebody next to him. That guy that you see that is sitting next to him, that's the one that actually killed him, and then he took over, after he died. So what is going on? And then when you look at what's going on in the Congo right now, you can almost say that the blood of Patrice Lumumba is calling for vengeance. And really what's happening in the Congo, it's also about resources, exploitation and so on. But there's a revolution going on. And you know what? I love what Traore said. Traore said that this is not democracy, and democracy shouldn't start at the beginning. It should come after the revolution, right? And I think that's what the Western world are afraid of. They're afraid that Traore is going to prove them wrong when it comes to democracy. And I think I've shared a lot of clips, and I'm going to share again, about what other people think about democracy. I love what Dr. Jeffrey say about the United States has been democratic in their own country, with their own people. But when it comes to, abroad, they're very ruthless. And that's the truth. When it comes to abroad, they are ruthless. And that's what he said. He says that you can be democratic within your own people and ruthless beyond the borders.
When I look at my own country, the United States, it is a semi-democratic, white-dominated, hierarchical, racist society that aims to preserve privilege by the elites. That's how it was formed in 1787. It was a slave-owning, genocidal country, killing Native Americans for a white culture. But amazingly, it still looks that way, although we're much more diverse now than we were. The most violent country in the world in the 19th century, by far, was perhaps the most democratic or second most democratic, and that was Britain. You could be democratic at home and ruthlessly imperial abroad. The most violent country in the world since 1950 has been the United States. It's been by far involved
Jeffrey,
in more,
stop
wait,
now.
in more wars.
Jeffrey, I'm your moderator, and it's enough.
Okay, I'm done.
Tucker Carlson, he has returned to Moscow. Obviously, we know how people reacted when he interviewed Vladimir Putin, because you're not supposed to ever listen to these people in their own words. You have to rely on the mainstream media to tell you who these people are. And around the world, they tell us all the same thing. They're all terrorists and dictators, and everything that we do is perfectly above board. And we're usually just trying to spread democracy. And I think spreading democracy maybe is a code word for dropping bombs on civilians. But I'm not sure.
So now, I want you to listen to this video about just the whole, what Traore is doing and so on. And I'm so happy, guys, that, you know what? We are not our parents. We are awakening. We are not our parents. We are not going to fall for you saying that Traore is doing this or he's not taking care of his own people when we know the proof. And you know what, guys? I am going to Burkina Faso, okay? I'm going to Burkina Faso and I'm going to be live on Facebook. I'm going to be live on YouTube. If there's something that I can help this young leader, then it's awareness. Whatever I can do from my side, I will do. And I have decided that I'm traveling to Burkina Faso and I'm going to, I know there's apparently terrorists, but those terrorists are terrorists that were brought by who, we don't want to mention name because this is YouTube, right? I don't want my video to be taken down, but we know that they are busy taking care of it. When there's a problem, you can expect a problem that has been there for years to be taken care of within how long? Traore has been in power for 2 years and is trying, right? So why are they expecting so much from him when they have been taking care of that and it has not been working? So I'm definitely traveling to Burkina Faso and so let's take a minute to listen to this video and then I will share what Traore has been doing.
At just 34 years old, Captain Ibrahim Traore became the youngest leader in the world when he took power in 2022. A former army officer, he rose in response to public frustration over insecurity and economic challenges in Burkina Faso. But what makes Traore different isn't just his age or background, it's his vision. He believes Africa must rely on its own resources and stand proudly without waiting for approval or permission from the West. While many leaders give speeches, Traore takes action. He speaks about sovereignty, self-reliance, and service to the people. And in July 2024, he put those beliefs into motion with one of the most ambitious health initiatives Africa has ever seen. One that's changing lives already. With the launch of free, full-service mobile clinics, Burkina Faso has taken healthcare where it's needed most, to the people. These are not just ambulances or pop-up tents. Each clinic is a fully equipped vehicle offering prenatal care, ultrasound screenings, breast and cervical cancer detection, basic emergency services, child health checks. The focus? Women and children, the backbone of every society, and too often the most neglected. The initiative was rolled out to all 13 regions of Burkina Faso, reaching remote villages where the nearest hospital is sometimes a full day's journey away. And here's what really shocked the world. These clinics were 100% free. They were not funded by outside donors. They were paid for using Burkina Faso's own gold reserves, turning natural wealth into public good. Captain Traore's team said it clearly. We are investing our own resources in our own people. We do not need to beg for help. During a joint discussion with regional military officials, a U.S. general reportedly asked about the costs and logistics of such an ambitious program. When he learned it was funded through gold, not loans or foreign partnerships, he fell silent. According to witnesses, he was visibly stunned, not by the technology, but by the principle. This wasn't about what Burkina Faso could do. It was about what it was willing to do. Without Western aid. African citizens around the continent began to share the story online. The hashtags #Captain Traore, #Gold for Health, and #Make Africa Great began trending in Francophone and Anglophone regions alike. Influencers, journalists, and even diaspora leaders began praising the move. Commentators said things like, "This is the Africa we've been waiting for. Gold should feed our people, not sit in foreign banks. If Traore can do it, why not other leaders?" Meanwhile, critics of Western aid models began pointing to this moment as proof that Africa doesn't need saving. It needs sovereignty. This story isn't just about clinics. It's about dignity. It's about belief in African potential. It's about a leader who used gold, the same gold often taken out of Africa, to give life back to its people. Captain Ibrahim Traore's mobile clinics show us that true leadership is not about making speeches at summits. It's about meeting people where they are. Rural women in Burkina Faso now have access to care that will save lives. Children will grow up healthier, communities will thrive, and a continent will watch, and perhaps follow. Because when one country stands tall, others rise too. This is more than news. This is inspiration. This is what it looks like when we choose to make Africa great, together.
So, now, when you look at even what you listen to, Traore has made education, health, free for all. Now, this is the other thing that he did. I think he's giving university students $200. Like, that's what? Like, I don't understand why the West think we're gonna believe their lies, because there's so much evidence about what Traore is doing. We don't even have to guess. Like, the citizens themselves love their leader. They are going around. Oh my God! Like, I am so happy that we are awakening and we are not apologetic about what we believe, and we are not going to take their lives. Like I said, we are not our parents. Our parents didn't have the technology that we have, so they couldn't share, they couldn't, but we are sharing. So guys, this is a movement, this is a revolution. Whether it's going to be called the Burkina Faso Revolution or it's going to end up being called the African Revolution, it is a revolution. And we're going to prove that democracy shouldn't be the beginning for any states, because they've been saying no. Because when you look at democracy, really, it's like telling your children who are young to go and do whatever they want. They're going to do that. Like my young child, if I leave him and not tell him to sleep, he can as well be on the PlayStation the whole night. That's democracy, right? But if you give democracy to a child who's older, now you've taken care of things, you've raised them well, now you can say that, okay, you know what? You can be on the PlayStation and so on. They can decide that, okay, now it's time to sleep. But come on, when you give a 10-year-old, they're going to be like, this is also like almost like with food. If you give a 10-year-old to eat whatever they want, they're going to probably live from muffins, or candies. That's democracy, at least from how we understand it. Anyway, guys, from me, Jehovah, I am so smiling from ear to ear because I'm so happy. Anyway, my hair was done by a girl called Shelly. She's at Marker College. So I just want to say, like, it's so beautiful. I love it's not a sin to love your nice, thick black hair. I always love it when people say, oh, your hair is so thick. People sometimes think you're gonna feel bad, but I love my hair. Anyway, bye guys. Take care.